Did you want me to go now, Johnny?
Yep, go ahead, Jared.
Okay. Well, first off, I didn't know there was a forum until about 30 minutes ago. I'm not sure if that was sent out or I just didn't receive it. I know a couple others reached out to me that they hadn't received it either, so I'm not sure if I don't know, maybe just didn't notice it. But so I'm running for election this year. I've got a lot accomplished in our my first term on council, I believe. We're close on the getting closer on the casino down the Tri-Cities. I know it's a big thing for people. Bring a lot of revenue to our tribe and support a lot of new jobs and a lot of new revenue opportunities that can help us in a lot of regards. I've been working a lot on salmon reintroduction. We're working on a bill right now that'll hopefully be included in the next infrastructure bill that will address the phase 2 study and actually paying for it. That was the big what if, and a lot of that is how do we pay for it? How do we pay for interim passage going up and then juvenile collection going down and finish the study that we need to, show what we kind of already know as Native people, that, salmon can be up above the dams again and back to our people and back up into Canada. So we're working on that a lot as the fisheries chairman, the natural resource chairman, and also the UCUT chairman. We are close in Espelum district we just passed architecture and engineering to go out for the Espelum Community Longhouse, which will also be updating the community center as well as the celebration grounds and all the things needed there. The community center will be all electrical, exterior as well as interior. The kitchen, also the longhouse will have its own big commercial kitchen, but that'll help having both kitchens available for when we have multiple events there. Celebration grounds will be new cook shacks, new some of the new arbors. They're fixing them up, new bathrooms. Hopefully, moving the one bathroom that's by the couple of the family camps. I heard there's a lot of issues there from smell of septic and stuff, so we're trying to use a different spot to move that and locate it. We just set the location for the convalescent center up above the old BIA building up on the hill on the flat up there. So they're moving forward on that now to update the business plan, and then hopefully can go off for architecture and engineering as well soon. That was a big step. I know location was a big thing, and I know they did a past survey, and that was a spot they kind of wanted the elders, and it seemed to be the most reasonable. And we did site visits. Karen was on that as well. Went and checked out a few different sites. One was Hinman Ranch, but didn't really have. There was a lot of flooding issues for septic. I can go on and on. There's a lot of stuff we're doing. Karen mentioned the clinic in Omak is a big thing. Well, I'll stop unless some others go. I don't want to take a lot of time, but for re-election, as far as I think I've done a very good job being a strong voice for our district. Not everyone gets to see what goes on, especially this last year with COVID. It wasn't fun for anyone. A lot of hard decisions had to be made, and I stick by all the decisions I've made. And I just appreciate everyone taking the time to tune into the candidate forum here. And thank you guys, and I'll listen to everyone else.
Thank you, Jared. We cut Eddie off. He was going to answer the question that was asked, and I will just remind you, Eddie, if I can find it, about do you support res-wide voting, and would you stand up to others if the membership wants or requests that of you?
Okay, yes. Res-wide voting is, I understand it's a hot topic right now. And yes, living in Keller, it's the smallest district on the reservation. So to me, I would leave that up to this district, see what the people here want. I lived in Inchlim as well before, so I know what it's like over there also. So I would leave that to them districts, bring it up to a vote. If that's what they want, then, then so be it. But to me, it's always put the people first, don't go off of what these guys think over here in this corner or that corner. Leave it to the people as a whole, I guess, in them districts, as far as res-wide voting goes. And yes, you need to stand up. If the membership wants this and they're not listening to them, somebody has to stand up and, this is what your people want, so go with what your people want. Don't have your own agenda.
I didn't know if you wanted me to answer that, Johnny. This is Jared again. I'm sorry, I didn't hear that first question, but I do support it. And we were close, I believe, at one time to getting it out to a vote, but we never quite got there. I kind of need a couple extra people, but I definitely support it.
Okay, thank you, Jared. I think that you already answered the other half of the question. And thank you, Eddie. I'm not surprised that your position would be a little different than other people's. And so just as a clarification, you would say that you think that it should be approved only if the majority of each district supports it?
Yes. As far as the res-wide voting goes, yes.
Okay. Does somebody have another question they want to ask?
This
evening,
is
this-
Allison. This is Allison. I see that there is a question about ethics being taken out of the hands of council and another ethics council being voted. My belief is that with the ethics that, there's a lot of conflict of interest when you try to, have the peer, when you're judged by peers. So I do believe that ethics should be taken out of council for their own, for ethics, but I also think that there needs to be clear standards. And then in order to bring an ethics charge, it does need to meet that minimum standard to be able to be heard. Thank you.
Thank you. So the question formally for the rest of the candidates is how do you feel about ethics being taken out of the hands of council and another ethics council being established?
Anybody going? This is Deidre. I would like to talk about ethics. A few years ago when district meeting was in Omak, that was the year my son tried to go do some work. And I'm not sure if you're really familiar, but to me, it seems like unless you're involved in a situation or something affects you, unfortunately, you don't really notice it until it happens to you. And this happened with us with my son, not being able to work. I tried to get just a small program for 5 hours a week, anything to keep our special needs adults busy. But at that district meeting, I went up and told him, that's not how, I don't understand how it could be ethical to be the person who files charges, decides if they're going forward, and makes a decision on them. You can't police yourselves. And, that's all I said. And, and that was years ago. So I still believe that needs to be figured out. And it's a policy, it's a resolution, it's law, and it needs to be fixed. And, that's where I think my experience come from is procedures, and the jobs that I've held had to do with revising procedures and policies and doing all that. So I think that's where I would be helpful, but I don't believe ethics should be in there at all. Thank you.
Okay, Randy?
Hi, this is Randy Friedlander. Yeah, definitely. It needs to be taken out of, ethics needs to be taken out of the councils, out of them policing themselves, like Deidre said. It reminds me a lot. I mean, I like watching the TV show Survivor. I like that, but I don't like seeing it taking place in our own council. And it's almost like watching Survivor. Who's going to be voted off this week? And we're a federal entity. We're on the same level as the federal government, as being a federally recognized tribe. And at times it's just, for me, that's why one of the reasons why I'm running. It's very hard to watch, and I'd like to see that change. Our Constitution identifies what's unethical. Felony and misdemeanors are two of the items it picks up, and it gets kind of wishy-washy when people start passing resolutions and saying, okay, well, we're going to go ahead and police ourselves now. And if we see it take place, this is how we'll do it. Anyway, take it out of the council. I don't know whose hands it goes into. It's obviously got to be somebody that's very ethical, understands what ethics are, and knows how to apply them. Thank you.
Karen?
Good evening. This is Jim Nanamkin. Could I add something to that?
Jim, I think we're gonna get to you after Karen, and we'll let you introduce yourself after Karen answers the question.
Very good. Thank you.
So this is Karen, and I definitely support removing ethics from out of the control of council. In one of my letters, I had stated that I think it would be, one option would be to move it under the Court of Appeals. As you all know, the Court of Appeals already has procedures, policies and procedures established for handling cases. And so I think that having that Court of Appeals handle ethics would be one way of dealing with ethics. I know that others may disagree, but that's an option. So if we could have it outside of council where there's clear established policies and procedures on how you deal with them would definitely be helpful in terms of making sure that everybody that's submitting an ethics charge, that they're being treated fairly, as well as any council that's being that has a complaint filed against them. So it's just making sure that everything's fair and equitable, and that the rules, the policies and procedures are maintained and are not changed for anybody.